Today we'll be talking about an article I found, and it's a trip. I'm going to start off by reading the statement that her lawyer made, which is she has mental illness for which she was receiving treatment, and that the allegations of her attending 3 Boston high schools are nothing more sinister than a young lady being somewhere that she shouldn't have been. And what I have to say to that statement is that she's not a young lady. And it's a problem if she likes being around high schoolers. Period. What would a grown 32-year-old woman want with high schoolers? Or why would you even want to be in that environment? So her name is Shelby Hewitt. She is facing charges for posing as a student at 3 different high schools in Boston. She turned herself in at court. Her lawyer is saying that she has a history of mental illness, but check this out. She's actually a social worker. So she used to work for the Department of Children and Families. And she's accused of faking paperwork to pass herself off as a teenager. 3 high schools that she pretended to be a high schooler at was Jeremiah Burke, Brighton, and English. She was held on a $5,000 bond, which she posted. Interestingly, the judge gave her some pretty direct conditions as to pinpointing her problem. She's supposed to stay away from all schools. No contacting Boston public school employees, and contacting no children who aren't her immediate family members. It was her first time in court after the alleged fraud, which was unveiled June 14th, when a man came to English High School claiming he was withdrawing his daughter over bullying. And the school discovered an error in her paperwork and notified police. Hewitt fidgeted with her hands during parts of the proceeding and at one point appeared to cry. An arrest warrant was issued for Hewitt on June 27. Her lawyer explained that Hewitt was in residential treatment before turning herself in on Monday. And I wonder, it's such a thin line because you look at it as like that's something that she definitely needs. It's also something that could work in her favor. Her lawyer says that this is a young lady that has severe mental health challenges and has been dealing with it on a lifelong basis. It is well documented that she is continuing to deal with it, says her lawyer. This all started because a school staffer called 911 after a man claiming to be Hewitt's father, she was going by a different name, tried to remove her from school over bullying, though she'd only been enrolled the week before, and staff was working to address the apparent bullying, authorities have said. Worried about a possible custodial issue with her parents, school officials reached out to the district for her paperwork and discovered an error with one of her enrollment forms, which led to a call to a social worker listed on the document who didn't exist. The next day, state and local police on human trafficking teams conducted a search in an apartment in Jamaica Plain, court documents said. The search uncovered documents from her bedroom at an apartment that had been submitted to juvenile court in the Department of Children and Families, which were allegedly used to enroll Hewitt into Boston Public Schools as 2 different people. Boston Public Schools Superintendent Mary Skipper has called the incident a case of extremely sophisticated fraud, and a prosecutor argued Monday held on a $10,000 bond, in part because of allegations of various aliases used. The allegations of Ms. Hewitt attending 3 separate schools under 3 separate aliases, 2 of which are true people who did not give permission to use their name in attending schools. Picturing this scene, right? Because she had to have known the person that was pretending to be her father to pull her out of school. So they're taking it serious, but after they do their homework, they find out that she's not even a student. So I wonder if she went in the bathroom and called him and was like, yeah, come right now. Like, I wonder if she went home and planned it. Like, what was happening in this situation? Were they playing pretend? Was a grown 32-year-old woman and a man playing as her father come up with this plan to have her fake like she's a high school student? To what end, though? And that's why the judge's conditions for Hewitt are completely appropriate. She shouldn't be around schools. She shouldn't be around children. If it's not her immediate family, and even then, watch her, because this is odd. Her lawyer is pushing something valid, but I don't know how valid it is, because she used to be a social worker. So I don't know. I know that she definitely used what she learned to get in these schools and pretend that she's a high school student. I definitely know that, but to what end? Why do you like being around high schoolers as a 32-year-old woman? I think that like there's different generations of adults that had a late start and maybe created this world for themselves. And that's why I never used to like play around with my room too much. I like aesthetics. I like things that remind me of the 90s, but I have to be careful with that because I'm not a child anymore. So, I'm not going to buy a crop top with Angelica on it. Angelica is a little girl. She's a little girl. And so, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments.